Well, good evening to you. This is The Voice Radio. I'm here today in the office of Nana Agyemang Gyabi, the former Press and Information Secretary of MPP UK and Ireland branch, to talk me through the impact of the two ex-presidents in Ghana, in the person of Mr. Rawlings and Mr. Kufuor, their impact on our democratic dispensation when they join in day-to-day political discourse. Stay tuned as we come your way pretty soon. Minyan Minina, when you could feel Manyo Kufu Shame, ye drinking your Honda Mobile man Ghana but me to pon. As I said earlier on, I will be talking with the former Press and Information Secretary MPP UK and Ireland branch to talk us through some of the impact that the two former head of state, Mr. Jerry John Rawlings and Mr. Kufuor, on our young democratic dispensation. In the meantime, let me get you here. Stay tuned and do not flip the dial. The PPP promised incorruptible leadership ahead of December polls. Dr. Indum, flag bearer of the Progressive People's Party, has promised Ghanaians as an incorruptible leadership if elected as Ghana's president in December 2012. The flag bearer said he would ensure judicious use of state resources for effective transformation of the country. Dr. Indum gave the assurance that when he was addressing party supporters at the Yarina Palace in Wa as part of a 2-day tour of Upper West, he said the PPP had initiated programs and policies to help change the country to a better place. Dr. Indum said a PPP government will create jobs for the youth, provide free education from kindergarten to senior high school, and empower women to salvage them from poverty. The flag bearer commanded the people of the warm reception and asked them to vote him into power. Dr. Indum stressed that he had a team of competent people to help him govern the country. Alhaji Ibrahim Muhammad Saidu, PPP National Vice Chairman, appealed to party supporters to eschew violence in their campaign to ensure peaceful elections. He also appealed to the electorate to vote for the PPP flag bearer and parliamentary aspirant for Wa Central. Mr. Samuel Ampa, PPP Deputy Communication Director, appealed to party executive and supporters to be vigilant at polling stations to prevent cheating on December 7. Yeri Na Alhaji Mukhtar Mustafa noted that Dr. Indum, who had already contributed to national development, was not new in the country's political landscape. The chief prayed to God to grant the flag bearer his wish of becoming president of the Republic of Ghana. Mr. James Suhiyure, the PPP parliamentary aspirant for Wa Central, called for clean electioneering to ensure peace in election 2012. Well, folks, this is a news brief on the PM show today. As I did say earlier on, I will be joined by Nana Agyemang Gyabi, former Press and Information Secretary of MPP UK and Ireland. Stay tuned and do not go away. Minyanum penyin wonte masemi monfanye smasem onfanya asemo osbot wo trim na we hyiahia no dem obedi a oman Ghana yebetime tumpon. Is 42 minutes after 5 o'clock UK time. You're listening all over the world. As I did say earlier on, I've got former Press and Information Secretary Nana Agyemang Gyabi with me in his office in UK, as you can see the picture on your website. And Nana is with me to do a pretty short discussion on this network. Stay tuned and do not flip the dial.
Mawo, AB crunch my baby. Hey, Moses, my what baby do? Basi asa, nesta so atwo ho, na ka trefo. Obiala nsabi. Obiara hwehwe no dofo. Amara wa ya ma mo honam na aya da krapa. Na so bi no opie, obo no wendem, wan fiafi na wo kale. Oya wa bayam. Eye ukona. Adie wo. Mini abrante so na sa. Unye. Jaisuni komo izi. Eye ukona. Photo biniji hu. Photo biniji hu. No biniji chenti nama mawayingira.
Moses by AB Crensos, then Fatu Binedo Mawenywanje. Mom Mauro Ate. Do not ever be sad. Whatever happens, you are better than somebody. Stay tuned and do not go away. Nana, good evening.
Good evening.
The recent political landscape in Ghana, there has been a bit of tension as Ghana is approaching its electioneering period. December 7, Ghana will go to poll to change or to confirm to consolidate, to grant another consolidation to another political party in political office, or to change for another political party to take over the administration of the country. Ghana is blessed to have two ex-head of states, two ex-executive chief executive of the state, in the person of Mr. Kufuor and Jerry John Rawlings in Ghana. Now, how do you see these two great men, their contribution to consolidating our young democracy?
Well, it's a good, it's a whole bag of issues. If you asking what they are doing to consolidate the democracy in the country. Initially, I would say the democratic process or dispensation that we have now, or we are enjoying now, was kick-started by Mr. Rawlings during his tenure as the PNDC chairman. From a military dictatorship, he dissolved into a military democratic governance, and he was on for 2 consecutive terms. He delivered his term. And I know we all anticipated 1999 to 2000. People were thinking he will not hand over, but eventually Rawlings handed over, and that's one thing I would say opened the proper way for democratic expression that we are enjoying today. He might have chosen not to hand over, which could have brought Ghana into so much of a confrontational crisis. And at least for having the common sense and the love of the country, I would say, as he keeps saying, to have handed over power to Mr. Kufuor 2000, that has put us ahead of most of the third world nations that experienced that kind of banana republic. Coming to Mr. Kufuor, Mr. Kufuor took over for 8 years. And he also played his significant role in deepening the roots of democracy in the country, because he was determined to ensure that Ghanaians enjoyed free and unfettered democratic rights. We had never experienced total, what I wouldn't say absolute and total democratic dispensation in the country, but I would say to a very large extent under Mr. Kufuor's regime, rule or governance or watch, we had really enjoyed a higher significance of democracy within our country, because under his dispensation, one main law that has fettered or constricted people from freedom of expression was the criminal libel law. And it was repealed under Kufuor's watch of governance.
We will not go there today. Let's look at these two men. Ghana is blessed to have them now. One from either of the political, but the two big parties in the country. Now, Mr. Rawlings has been a critic of both MPP, was the critic of MPP, and has been an adherent critic of the NDC, his own political party. How do you assess the impact of Jerry John Rawlings' political ideologies or his thinking on our young democracy, his political thinking?
I would say Rawlings' impact and influence on the country, the political, I wouldn't say the democratic issue alone, the political direction of the country has been immense. For someone to have stayed in power for 21 years, 2 decades. During the time he took over, people with children who were born in 1979 would have been 21 years. They would have come of age under Rawlings. So we cannot say without any shade of doubt that Rawlings has not had a serious and significant impact on the political direction of Ghana. If the history of Ghana comes to be written, Rawlings' name and activities that he has done will feature very high in that order. But whether it's been that helpful, whether it's been that productive, whether it's been that the impact, you see, if we are assessing, we need to weigh them on various levels. It's not just only the political arena. We have to also weigh it along the economic and the social aspect of the nation as well. Where has his legacy been? What has his legacy been? How had he been able to influence the nation as it is today?
Now, we talk about the nation as it is today because it takes one to have a free will before we can develop. Without a free will and free thinking of a citizenry of a country, there will be harder doubt to a development. But let's look at Rawlings per se as an individual. After his administration, his regime or his rule, he handed over. He never lost the election. But the president of Ghana, John Evans Atta Mills, went into election and lost to the MPP then candidate, Mr. Kufuor, who was the president of the MPP from 2000. Mr. Rawlings was a critic of the MPP government when the MPP was in office. And the then government did chastise him for criticizing the party by taking off his immunities, his right, just traveling outside what he was supposed to have taken or what he was supposed to have gone through the airport were waived off by the then former foreign minister. He did not give in. He criticized the party constructively. And his own party came into office in 2008. Rawlings continuously criticized his party, which is the NDC, which in turn the NDC also blamed him for criticizing their own party, a party that he belongs to. Nana, a man of such a caliber, trying to make sure that he would discuss and criticize on national issues, show his concern on national issue. How do we put such a man? And what is his impact actually be seen or felt in the country by politicians?
You see, notwithstanding the fact that Rawlings has played such a significant role in our nation's political affairs, the bottom line is just criticizing sometimes for criticizing's sake doesn't necessarily mean you are doing a good job. Let's face it, you made a comment about his criticism of the MPP and the MPP waiving his diplomatic rights. It didn't happen like that. MPP did not waive Mr. Rawlings' diplomatic rights. It was him who refused to accept it. That's what happened.
It was a statement by the then foreign minister. He made a statement
that the foreign minister will not go out of way and go and say, I've suspended Mr. Rawlings' diplomatic rights. One, don't forget that such a decision involving an ex-president would have been taken at the highest level of governance.
That is what we had in 2002,
would have sat down and thought about it. And the fact still stands that I can tell you categorically that the MPP did not suspend Mr. Rawlings' diplomatic rights. It was Mr. Rawlings who chose not to go through the VIP lounge anytime he's traveling. He decided, and you know, some of these things, come on, let's face it. Mr. Rawlings is known for his, he's known for his political gimmicks. When sometimes it comes to playing to the populace, playing to the gallery, he knows how to, turn
he knows how to play the game.
To play the game. So, you see, if you go in there, there's nowhere that the foreign minister decided to take his diplomatic rights away. He decided not to. And then when they said, well, you don't want to take it, fine. It's up to you for you to take it or leave it. We can't force you to take the diplomatic immunity, the diplomatic rights.
Now, away from that, let's look at what he's doing to his own political party.
His pay, his money, his gratuities were paid to him.
Yes.
The state was still catering for his upkeep. So did the state go to that extent? No.
So don't forget, what I'm saying is some of the rights that Rawlings should have enjoyed, we're not going to discuss that, but some of them, because of the utterances of the then
it was not because of the then government.
Mr. Rawlings refused to take them.
He precipitated that statement.
Now let's look at the recent events happening in NDC and in Ghana. That Rawlings
let's establish that fact.
Yes.
You are trying to say that the government went out there to say because he's been criticizing the government, they've taken his diplomatic rights. That is not what happened. Let's face it, it's a history that we all know. Let's say put on record here what actually transpired, so that
what transpired was when Akufo-Addo, the then foreign minister, made a statement that Rawlings goes out and criticized the party, the government outside, therefore tarnishing image of Ghana. If he still want to do that, then his right of traveling on diplomacy or diplomatic right will be waived.
No. That
so
is not
Rawlings
what happened.
accepted
that is
by
not
the interview
that
granted
is not
by
what
Mr.
happened. Mr. Ademo, I can assure you that is not what happened.
All right,
what happened? Let's establish it, because I remember very well. I had a debate on this issue with Alex Sevefia, who was the then chairman of NDC in the UK, and we explained these things. That now look, Rawlings himself refused that if he's traveling, he's not going to go to the VIP lounge. And nobody stopped him from doing it. And I asked the question, if they say his diplomatic rights are taken away, he was still using his diplomatic passport. Don't forget that. You see? So, and his travel allowances were being paid. Don't forget that. His housing, upkeep, and everything, the gratuity that he was entitled to, all of them were paid. Just he refused
to go through the VIP.
That's it. And it's one of those gimmicks that we know Mr. Rawlings for. So let's not.
And he's been accused of those kind of gimmicks. He's been labeled with political gimmicks and machinations, even within his party. They criticize him for criticizing the party constructively for what they were doing or what went through or they are still doing. He said round pegs has been put in square holes.
Let me intervene here, please. Even if we are talking about criticism of the NPP government during the NPP era, what was the totality, the content of Mr. Rawlings' criticism at that time? His criticism was that NPP are corrupt, they are thieves. He went on platform calling Mr. Kufuor a tie, meaning he's a thief. Did he provide any evidence to that effect? And having been a leader of a nation, for that matter, a mature statesman, you don't just go off the hoop and go on platforms and start accusing people without evidence. Two, don't forget that he went on to say he knew the people who are associated with the murder of Yana. Okay, and that he's going to provide the information. This is one thing.
No, he tells the government that if they want to know, he can subject himself and 20 others to the state,
lie detector,
so that Mr. Kufuor's government could also provide 20 people.
To say he would like to go to Antoine. But as an elder statesman at that time, if you have information, a criminal, for that matter, a criminal incident, that you have information.
Nana, by proclaiming, don't you think that it is upon the state to invite him, to interview him and ascertain the fact from him?
Invite him to ascertain the fact.
Yes, it is up to the state security.
There was a commission that started. The Kwaku commission was set up.
Was an invitation extended to ex-President Rawlings?
It was open to everybody to go and provide information that they have.
I think it was a special invitation should have sent to Nana. You and I are aware that countries such as
and
ours,
even he, as an elder statesman, former president, he could have taken it upon himself to go to the commission and say, "Look, this is the evidence I have about the."
He was basing on the fact that even if he placed, no, I'm not advocating, but what Rawlings was saying was, even if he provide the evidence, the security apparatus, and for that matter the state is not going to depend solely on his evidence to execute or justice.
The Waku commission was an open public sitting commission
now
that anybody could
away
go
from
and
that. Let's look
evidence.
at the criticism of the NDC by the former president. How do you see the criticism of the NDC
by
his
party? He has, what do you say, he provided the seed, he sowed the seed, he nurtured the seed, and the seed matured into the NDC we have today. Okay, so it's like having a baby. You know how you started the whole show, the whole thing, and he knows what have gone into the NDC and the output that he's getting. So if the output does not meet his expectation, it's up to him to look to what he have to do, because it is his baby. But the bottom line is, people within the NDC, when he was criticizing them, were saying the man is suffering from what? Power withdrawal. You see? Because
Nana, in your own fact, is it true that Mr. Rawlings is suffering from power withdrawal, or he's been just to the nation?
We cannot say in every circumstances that he's been criticizing the government of the day he's been right. Sometimes some of the criticisms are out of tangent. All right.
What do you mean they are out of tangent?
Tangent because it's uncalled for. It's uncalled for.
Why?
In an environment of convivial environment, I should say, where you want things to go. There's a proverb in Akan that they say that people have red saliva in their mouth, but they always spit out white saliva. Why are they saying that? Among our elders, they are saying that to say that it's not everything that hurts.
But don't you think because of this kind of cultural orientation, that is why we are allowing ourselves to be taken for a ride by politicians?
This is a word of caution for people to know how and when to talk. You see, sometimes you need to realize there's a time to talk and a time to keep quiet.
Has it been wrong on certain issues within the NDC that most of their MPs, most of their ministers are square pegs in a round hole?
And certain issues, I would rather have preferred that Mr. Rawlings has kept his silence.
Why?
Why? It's not everything that you go out there to say.
No, he's a citizen of the country.
Otherwise, WikiLeaks would not have become relevant today.
No, he's a citizen of the country, Nana.
Yeah, nobody is taking his right to speak from him.
So
we are not denying him his right of speech. What we are saying is that as an elder statesman, there are things you see, you hear, and you give it time to travel for some time before you go out to talk about
Nana, should you allow the country to plunge into a different scenario before you go and say,
the many criticisms that he's been going around passing on, has it really worked to help the country? Sometimes some of his criticisms have been not helpful. They've not really helped the nation. All right.
Now let's look at the recent participation of Mr. Rawlings in the NDC Congress. How do you see it?
Well, he had an issue with the NDC party. As it is.
Were you surprised he attended the Congress?
Actually, I was surprised.
Why? Why were you surprised?
But I wasn't surprised to the extent that I realized that it would have been very shortchanged. He would have been shortchanging himself to have allowed the Congress to go on without making a show in there. Why? Because this is an organization that you claim you founded it. Now it's like people have, in one way or the other, wrestled the organization from your hand. It's like you starting a company.
But he did
and
say that because
the management of the company have found a way to set you aside and take it. Because
if the company does not stand on the principles
until the death of the expert, the expert,
Rawlings.
No, Atta Mills died. Until his death or his demise, it was like NDC was almost out
disarray.
Yes, they were in disarray.
Why that?
Mr.
Why that?
And he told it publicly that he's not going to associate with them.
Yes, because
he couldn't contain what was going on.
Because they did not accept the principles under which the party was formed. They said probity, accountability, justice.
If we are to put him himself, if we are to put him himself and his government under his watch against that background, probity, accountability, and all the blah 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 he keeps saying, would he come and pass on with flying colors?
Does that mean that we shouldn't learn from experience?
We learn from experience.
So if he is telling us that because of the experience he had,
that is what we are saying. With some
of the functionaries, therefore we need to sway away.
You are coming out from experience to talk about issues, but that is what sometimes you got to know. We don't have absolutes in the world. Nothing is absolute in our
well, listeners, okay? This is Nana Agyemang Gyabi, former Press and Information Secretary, MPP UK and Ireland branch, on the issue of Mr. Rawlings and President Kufuor, their impact, the impact they will put into our modern or contemporary democratic dispensation as per what they say and what they do in the country. Yes, we will come back again to talk about more important issues, but for now, let's get this one. Stay tuned and do not go away. This is Your Voice Radio with a show called The PM. Stay tuned, do not go away.
Mawo, Ebi Crunch, my baby. Hey, Moses, my what baby do? But see, I start. Next time, so I go home. Make a trip for Obialan Sabi. Obiara hwehwɛ no dɔfo. Amara wa ya ma mo honam na ayɛ da krapa. Na so bi no mo pɛ. Opa no wen dem, wen fiefi na wo kale.